If they had been black, this would have been different. It is a thought that many people of color had this week watching Wednesday's protests escalate to riots at the nation's capital. Some took those thoughts to social media. Former NBA star Dwayne Wade tweeted this out, saying black people get pulled over and don't make it out alive, and can't sleep in our own beds, jog or walk down the street with our hoods up without being killed. But they can do this. Of course, this meant storming the nation's capital, assaulting police officers on the way into the building, and then vandalizing congressional offices once inside. 5 people died. 1 was shot and killed by law enforcement. 1 was a Capitol police officer who later died. While more than 50 people were arrested, just 13 have been arrested for unlawful entry so far, and the FBI says it's just beginning to investigate the pipe bombs and a suspicious vehicle that was there. Dr. Rosemarie Allen is an education professor at Denver Metro State University. She's also our 9 News racial equity expert. Good morning, Dr. Allen.
Good morning, Gary. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. So what comparisons can you draw between the summer's Black Lives Matter protests and what happened this week?
Well, you know, Gary, when you look at the Black Lives protest over the summer and over the years, we know that the National Guard is usually deployed before these protests take place. They are ready, they are armed, and in many ways, many times, they initiate the violence against the protesters. But in this case, not only were the National Guard not deployed, but the Capitol Police failed to prepare and failed to defend our most sacred institution during our most sacred process, the election and confirmation of our president. We spend over $500 million a year for protection from the Capitol Police, and we're concerned, is this all we get? However, when we look at the Black Lives Matter protesters, there's no comparison. They are kicked, they are tear gassed, they are hit with rubber bullets, while at the Capitol, they were welcome. They even said the police were friendly. They took selfies with police officers. The rioters were escorted down the stairs very carefully after they were told to evacuate. This is insane. It's something that you can't compare. It's just an indication of the advantage of white skin and membership in this club.
And I agree with you on all of that. But what do you say to the people that say this wasn't racism, this was just simply incompetence by the police?
Well, we know that the police are not incompetent when it comes to Black Lives Matter protest. They are seen as very effective. They do what they are called to do. So the competence of the police cannot be in question here, especially when we've invested so much taxpayer money. So no, this is all about race. When those insurgents entered into the state capitol, they were not seen as enemies of the state. They were seen as members of the club. And this is why they were treated with respect.
The U.S. Capitol Police Chief resigned yesterday. What else do you think needs to happen to remedy these feelings of injustice when it comes to this kind of stuff?
Well, Gary, we have to understand that what we're seeing is a microcosm of the macrocosm. This is racism at its best. This is how Black, Indigenous people of color are treated at every level of our society. And we have to now stop talking and take action. We have to engage in anti-racist practices, address our policies, our laws, and our actions to stop these types of racist behaviors.
Well, President-elect Biden is only a couple of weeks out, and here's what he had to say. He agrees with you, by the way.
No one can tell me that if had been a group of Black Lives Matter protesting yesterday, they wouldn't have been treated very, very differently than the mob of thugs that stormed the Capitol. We all know that's true. And it is unacceptable, totally unacceptable.
Does that make you feel hopeful?
I am very hopeful, but I'll be more hopeful when I see substantive change. I'll be more hopeful when I see the action that accompanies those wonderful words from our president-elect.
All right, Dr. Allen, as always, it's nice to see you. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.